Rahab of Jericho, the scarlet cord of redemption. The city of Jericho stood proud and impenetrable. Its walls were thick, its gates strong, and its people confident in their defenses. Yet behind those mighty stones lived a woman whose life seemed fragile and broken, a woman known not for honor but for shame. Her name was Rahab, a prostitute, dwelling in a house built into the very walls of the city. For years Rahab had lived in the shadows of whispers and judgment. Men came and went, and she was left with a hollow heart. Yet within her stirred something more, a longing for truth, for a God greater than the idols of stone her people bowed to. She had heard whispers of Israel's God, the one who split the Red Sea, who humbled mighty kings, and who walked with his people by a pillar of fire and cloud. Fear gripped her city, but faith quietly grew in her heart. One evening, two strangers entered Jericho and sought lodging. Rahab knew at once they were not ordinary travelers. They were Israelites, spies sent to survey the land. The king of Jericho soon learned of their presence and sent messengers to her house. But Rahab made a bold, dangerous choice. Instead of surrendering them, she hid the spies beneath stalks of flax on her roof. Facing the king's men, she declared, "Yes, they came to me, but they have already left. If you hurry, you may catch them." The soldiers rushed out of the city gates, unaware that their quarry lay hidden above them. When the night grew still, Rahab climbed to the roof. The spies gazed at her in silence, waiting for her intent. Then she spoke words that changed her destiny. "I know that the Lord has given you this land. Terror has fallen upon us. Our hearts melt in fear. But I have heard of what your God has done, how he dried up the sea, how he defeated kings. He is God in heaven above and on earth below." She looked into their eyes, pleading yet firm. "Swear to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you will spare my family, my father, my mother, my brothers and sisters, when Jericho falls." The spies agreed, binding themselves with an oath. "Tie this scarlet cord in your window. When the walls fall, you and all who remain in this house will be spared." That scarlet cord became Rahab's lifeline, the symbol of faith in a God she had never seen but dared to trust. Days later, the trumpets of Israel sounded, and Jericho's mighty walls crumbled to dust. But Rahab's house, marked by the scarlet cord, stood firm amid the ruins. She and her family were brought out safely, no longer enemies, but welcomed into the people of God. Rahab the prostitute became Rahab the redeemed. When others saw a prostitute, God saw a mother of kings. When others saw shame, God wrote grace. She left behind a life of shame and entered into the lineage of promise. She married Salmon of Judah, and from her line came Boaz, who would one day marry Ruth. Generations later, from Rahab's bloodline, the Messiah himself, Jesus Christ, was born. Her scarlet cord foreshadowed another scarlet thread, the blood of Christ that redeems the broken, covers the sinner, and welcomes the outsider into the family of God. Rahab's story is not one of walls, but of redemption. Not of shame, but of faith. Not of ruin, but of legacy. And that scarlet thread, it still runs through history and all the way to the cross, where another scarlet line was drawn in blood to save not just Rahab, but you.